Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Haunt Talk. In today's episode, we're going to be continuing to reviewing our Kentucky area haunts, because this one is technically Indiana, and that is Malice Manor. So this one is kind of like located by a little strip mall. It's kind of like it, but it's not in the strip mall. It's like its own like garage building thing.
Yeah.
Definitely. You pull up to the place, isn't very intimidating, much looking at all, but you might be in for a little bit of a surprise. But we'll get into the review in just a second. Just a quick reminder to like and subscribe. Also check out our merch store so you can buy a shirt, a hoodie, a mug, a sticker, something with our logo on it. Help support us if you want to continue to help support us. You can also check out our Patreon. Just help support the channel. We're a small channel, so any little bit helps. That being said, we're going to get into the review, which of course, as always, means we must refer to the Book of the Dead! Book of the Dead! Book of the Dead! Book of the Dead!
Alright, so of course we always have to start off with sets and props. Like we said, this place was very unassuming. It was in like its own little like building thing. Like I almost want to say might have been like a party center or something like that.
I think it was its own dedicated thing, because the building itself looked new. I'm not positive, but like it looked like, because that's the only thing that was in here was just it. But yeah, when you walk in, there was like a DJ play. This is a really weird setup, because like there's a DJ playing by the ticket booth, but then once you get a ticket, you go to a completely separate room where the DJ is not, and that's where the queue line is. Mm-hmm. So it's just weird that like.
I mean, you could still hear the DJ and stuff like that, and he was loving the music he was playing. He was just jamming. He was just totally jamming to his own little thing. He didn't care if there were people there listening to him or not, which was funny. So you get your tickets, and then you go into this area with this huge, actually really pretty, like one of the prettier queue lines I've seen, where it was like kind of like
it was a cool queue for sure.
It was very pretty. It was like garden fencing. And, like, they had a lightning effect going on, and it was just very pretty.
There was, like, a cool, like, fountain with running water in it, actually. It was just a cool, and then, like, the facade of the place was... It was like a mausoleum facade looking kind of thing. Yeah, and that's where you entered, of course.
Yeah. So, one of the first things you go into is a little, living room kind of area with a fireplace. They make you sit down in front of the fireplace, and they tell you about what has happened here at Malice Manor. What is making it like, all these creatures and stuff like that. And basically this person who lived there brought like some sort of artifact back, and it infected the people and the animals and the plants and just everything that was in the house. And that's what happened, is that this place just got infected, and everybody that was around it got infected. And then you were sent through the fireplace.
Yeah, because it like opens up like the portrait. It's like one of the screen things, and then and then you kind of have to not crawl, but kind of duck. Yeah, it's like pretty low.
Crab walkish.
Yeah, through the fireplace, and then it kind of goes through there. I feel like a lot of it definitely varied, but there was a lot of it that felt like it was somewhat home-themed, manor-themed.
Haunted house.
Kind of classic haunted house stuff. Like I said, and there was some variation there, but there was a lot of it that... So there was, like, after that scene, there was, like, another what seemed like a little bit of a living room scene, because there was, like, a couch in there. There's a gross kitchen. And then there was, like, a witch hut. That was pretty cool. The witch hut was.
Yeah.
I really liked that scene.
There was like a little bit of like a water scene with like a big Jaws animatronic.
Yeah, it was like the same one they used at 100 Acre that we've talked about in PA. But it got a lot closer to you, obviously, in this one. I think it was big.
Yeah, it was really big. Like I like the one at 100 Acre Manor is kind of off to the side.
So you don't realize how large it is.
Yeah, and this actually was like right there, and I'm just like, damn, that's
this is a big puppet.
Freaking shark.
Or I don't know if it's a puppet actually, or if it was an animatronic. I'm not actually sure which, but one of the two. And then you walked over like some docks. I wish there was a little bit better of a water effect, because like Even if they could put like one of those like pools or something in there, but it just looks like you're walking over cement.
Yeah.
I think they had like a light shown on it that was supposed to look like water, but it didn't. It just,
yeah.
But
there was a room that had just butts.
This room. Yeah.
It was strange. So there was actually like some like air cannons like hidden like that were blowing air on you.
Ew.
So I think it was like a fart room.
Yeah, it was just a room with a bunch of butts.
There was literally just butts. There were asses all over this.
Well, because the first room, I think there was like, I think it's directly followed a room where like an actor talked about like sewing people or something, or like doing that. Because I think the first room before this had like possible like other like parts of people like doing things, and then and then it was like the butt room. I think was right after that.
It was just really strange.
There's really interesting laundry room scene where you choose, it was dry cycle or wash cycle.
Yeah. And
if you choose wash cycle, but again, you don't know this at first, but we got to see after we chose. Wash cycle is like you walk through like, it's like a bubble room.
Yeah.
And then dry cycle at the end, you get pelted with multiple air cannons to get dried off.
Like, literally, it moved my hair so much. Like, it was literally,
it was like
those,
up
like this. It was
gun,
everywhere. I couldn't even see. I'm like, ah. There was a really cool pirate ship. That was pretty neat. That was surprising. It was like, oh, look, pirates. There was a garage that had like a full car.
Yeah, and there was like a body. It was like wasn't a person, like a prop, like
it was a prop underneath it. But yeah, you had to like walk around this car.
And this scene was a little confusing, so we didn't know where to go. But then like if you walk all the way around, you can't really see it. But there's like the wall kind of ends, and you gotta like go behind the wall, and then it leads into like a little cave.
Yeah.
I will say like I wish the end was a little bit stronger, because then it just kind of just ends.
Yeah. Like. Yeah, it was weird.
Yeah, it just kind of ended. But overall, we did like the sets and props. A couple scenes here and there could have used a little TLC or just a little extra set dressing. But for what was there for the most part, we really liked. So we did still give it an 8.
Yeah. So moving on to actors. So again, with a lot of these haunts that we went to on this trip, we did not realize that these haunts were touchy haunts. Yeah. And we didn't find that out until we got in the queue. And the queue line actor, who was a ghost zombie person, I don't know what she really was, but she instantly walked up to me and started playing with my hair.
Yep. I'm like, all right. So they like, because like this one didn't advertise it at all, so it's kind of like I didn't know, and then they did, and I'm like, oh, okay. And this one they did touch quite a bit. Yeah. Like the girl that was in the opening room, you know, she had like those like long like fingernail things that you wear on, and she was like grabbing my arm and like running her nails up and down me and stuff.
Yeah, she was doing this on my head.
Yeah, the girl before the butt room, she like measured us and stuff, and I don't know, I think she wanted to make a suit out of us or something. In the witch hut, there's like this really cool like witchy woman. She was like contorting and doing all kinds of stuff. And
she was doing a bunch of weird shit, and then of course she came up to me, and I had a feeling after we were done in that room that I was gonna have crap all over me, because she came up and she just started like writing on my head, like she was putting symbols on my head.
She did.
She did.
Yeah, there were symbols.
When we got out of the haunt, we got in the car, and he's like, your forehead is just covered in stuff. She must have had like black makeup or something on her fingers, because I just had. It looked like if you're a religious person, or if you even know about it, Ash Wednesday is a religious holiday, and you go to church and they always put ashes on your head in a sign of a cross. Well, that it didn't look like they did a cross, but it was like just like this big thing of dirt all over my head.
There was some guy that like threw like there was like a running sink, and he like grabbed water, and I think he threw it at me. And then there was another guy with water who was like, it was like a bar scene. He asked if he wanted to take a shot. We were like, no, because the last place we went 2 years ago that made us take a shot, it was just a shot of vinegar. So we were like standing there, and we're like, no thank you. And he's like, okay. And then there was something, I think it was like a fake radio, and it just squirted water all over us, just drenched us in water. And then probably the most, like, messed up, like, actor was, I just have him down in the notes as Toe Guy. So, like, we walk in there, and he has, like, it's like a butcher scene, and he has, like, a, you know, a dismembered foot. And he's really trying to get Kim to lick the toes and stuff. And Kim wouldn't, and he finally left her alone. And then he comes up to me, and I, like, literally have my mouth covered, you know, like this. And he's just shoving it. Like, he's just, like, hitting my hands with it, like, pushing it between my fingers. And, like, he would not let me leave until finally I licked this fucking toe. And then he, like, went around and started putting the toes in Kim's ear.
Yeah, he went coochie coochie coo, and he put it in my ear after he licked it. So
yeah, I went.
I guess it gave me a wet willy. I guess
I went. Num 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 num. Not my proudest moment, but that's what happened. And then the last guy wanted us just to smell his baby. That was like in the cave. That was the last scene. That's what I said was a little bit of a weak last scene. He's just like, smell my baby, and we're like, no, and he's just like, oh, okay, and then. That was like the end.
Well, he did say it smells like death.
Yeah, he said it smells like death, yeah.
But he didn't like say it like very enthusiastic.
So I don't know if the baby had, because there was another haunt we did, which is a fear, where they had me smell flowers and it smelled like rotting like flesh.
Yeah.
So I assume there's probably something that like would squirt me or that smelled terrible if I would have smelled the baby. I don't know, but
ew.
The actors were good. They were aggressive. There was a lot of touching, a lot of just messing with us. They weren't as there was a little bit more dead space in the other ones, and they weren't as aggressive as in the other place. They weren't as, like, loud and just everywhere as they were in some of the other ones.
Yeah.
Like, there's still plenty of them. They weren't, like, they were short on them. But they just weren't as, like, full of energy as the others. But, I mean, still really good, though. Still, like, the actor, they're still really good. Like I said, there were some highlights, like the Witch Lady and stuff. But, yeah.
So we did give them a 9.25.
Yep. Yeah, we really liked the actors in this one. They were good.
All right, so moving on to scare factor. Like we said, they touched a lot here. It was very interactive. They made us do, you know, little things. They wanted us to smell things. They wanted us to eat things. There were a lot of air cannons, especially in that butt room.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you know, the water, the squirting of the water at the shots thing. And I think there was something else that squirted water.
Well, that's what I said, yeah. I think it was like a sink that they had running, and the guy, like, took his hand and was, like, throwing water. I mean, I think that's what happened. Because, something, like, doused my back with water at one point. Mm-hmm. So I didn't see exactly what happened, but yeah.
There were some, like, dark...
Maze rooms.
But it was very short. It wasn't,
it wasn't
like,
real long.
It
was just like a
nice.
small section of like dark maze.
It was fairly gory. There was quite a bit of stuff hanging around. You know, there was, you know, an extensive butcher scene. The girl that was trying to, you know, measure us and stuff like that. There was, you know, some gore there. There were body parts, and obviously the butts were all like cut off of people.
Well, of course, yeah.
Things like that.
It'd be worse if they were still on people.
Just butts sticking out of the wall.
Yeah. Just people
we
on
need
the
like
side.
10 people to just stick their butts through a wall.
Yep, and just fart.
That would be great. So we did give them a 9 for scare factor.
Yeah, pretty scary, especially if you're not into people touching you and stuff, because again, you can't opt out of it. If you go there, that's just what's going to happen. And yeah, they were very, very touchy, very grabby there. Yeah. So for value, this was one of the $25 ones. I would send the others. All the haunts in these areas were either 20 or 25. And even though it's technically Indiana, it's like right across the bridge from Louisville. So it's like 5 minutes from like Louisville. So yeah.
It was $40 for a fast pass. They did have one of the front of the line tickets, which was $60. And they did have a $2 coupon that we found at Devil's Attic.
Yeah.
So that's a little thing to remember. It took us about 15 minutes to walk through it.
Yep.
So we gave them an 8.5.
Yeah. So, you know.
For value.
Yeah, good value. This is one of the slightly longer ones because it was 15 minutes. And a lot of that's because of the fact of having to like stop and sit down for like the opening scene and some other kind of scenes where they sort of like held us back. Like the toe guy really held us there for a while, trying to make me eat the toes.
So for an overall score, we did give them an 8.75.
Yep. This one was quite a bit of fun. Because all of them we went to were really good, so I definitely, you know, wouldn't discount this one. It doesn't seem like it's quite as popular as some of the others, like the Haunted Hotel or even like American Horrorplex, but I still think it's you know, it's up there with being, you know, also really good. But yeah, have you been there? What'd you think of it? Let us know. Make sure you like and subscribe, and also make sure you're ringing that notification bell so you're not missing any upcoming videos. Thank you very much for watching.
Bye.